Hey everybody, welcome back to Monster Master Godzilla's Godzilla-Thon. We're now up to Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now, this one is a sequel to 2014, continuing the events of what happened to the first film in 2014. Godzilla in this movie is better in this one than in 2014. It has like the same design for Godzilla, but slightly different, like with a few minor tweaks, like right here, where the dorsal fins are different, a little thinner, and a little thin right here, and Godzilla has more of the original roars from the classics, and he has some of his roar from 2014, and they actually. So then it acknowledges what happened during the events of 2014. There was a family where one kid had died during the attack of Godzilla in 2014, and there's this mother who's trying to cause revenge with Godzilla, and the whole family was like estranged. And the main character of this movie was a kid played by Millie Bobby Brown, which you remember from Stranger Things, and it's her right there. And she's the best part of the movie. She's awesome and awesome kid. She's an awesome kid in this one. One of the best parts of the movie. And for the first time and before this movie, there was also Kong Skull Island, which is set in the same universe. Which I will be reviewing that movie soon, when I do the King Kong-a-thon. And this one actually was set after the events of 2014. And this time we introduce more of Toho monsters in this movie. After the success of 2014, they actually shown more of the Toho monsters, and with awesome designs of CGI. Like, we introduced King Ghidorah, we introduced Mothra, and Rodan, which those are the only other Toho monsters other than Godzilla to appear in this movie. So then they actually shown a history where all the monsters had existed through ancient times, through prehistoric times. And they had some interesting monsters, including a behemoth, who doesn't appear much, which looks like some weird woolly mammoth gorilla-looking thing with tusks. Nice design, quite a nice design of the creature. Same with Scylla, which looks like some kind of like octopus face-looking creature with a spider-like body, and didn't do much, again, because it's mainly focused on Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah, which are the main focus of the movies. And one of the main characters actually has this device called the Orca, which communicates through all the monsters, and trying to signal all the monsters. And it even has an alpha mode that takes control of all those monsters. And like many incarnations, Mothra starts out being in her larva form, and he shows up in her adult form, which, oh my god, her adult form is amazing. It's like the best since GMK, which this is what Mothra's design looks like there. Come on, autofocus there. Focus, camera. I don't know why it won't focus. Focus, camera. Oh, come on, it's not going to focus. So then then Rodan appears in this scene, and he comes out through a volcano, and my god, Rodan's design is epic too. Like similar to the Heisei design combined with the Final Wars design. And they also introduced the Oxygen Destroyer, which And the battle between Godzilla and King Ghidorah is wild, like big and epic. It's like when they introduced King Ghidorah in this movie, he's like the Joker to Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy, which I thought that was the smart idea of saving King Ghidorah for a sequel, which is also the same thing that Venom did for Carnage. So then they introduce when they got the fights between Mothra and King Ghidorah are awesome, and King Ghidorah also has heads have some personality. The other heads pulls his horns, like saying, "Stop, not yet, stupid." Which they all have personality, which technically with all three heads in one body, that is. And they actually acknowledged the Toho movies by saying that he was called himself Monster Zero, and also known as King Ghidorah. And they actually, one photo has an Easter egg from Mothra from 1961, which is an Easter egg from the original Mothra from 1961. And so this time they actually featured the Godzilla theme from the Toho movies that used to go do 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 do. Yeah, they actually got to feature the Godzilla theme from all the Toho movies, which I was happy they used that, because in 2014 they didn't do that. And they did a lot of the monsters have their own themes and when the final battle is also awesome, and also when they introduce the Oxygen Destroyer, Godzilla gets defeated by the Oxygen Destroyer. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Remember how King Ghidorah's head gets blown up in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, where it's got two heads and only got two heads? Well, in this one, Godzilla blows up King Ghidorah's head, and only this time the head grows back. Yeah, not like the Heisei series where it got one head missing and got replaced with. So then during the battle, the humans dropped the Oxygen Destroyer on Godzilla, and it seemingly killed Godzilla, but it turns out he was alive. You would have thought that Godzilla would get reduced to a skeleton, like in 1954. Nope. He was damaged, trying to regenerate. He was trying to regenerate himself, and then Serizawa then appears, and only this time he instead of killing Godzilla like the original with the Oxygen Destroyer, he makes the sacrifice by killing himself, and then Godzilla gets regenerated again. And also, King Ghidorah takes over as, King of the Monsters, of course, and where all the monsters are being called out by King Ghidorah. And Rodan was serving King Ghidorah at first. But then Godzilla and Mothra fight King Ghidorah and Rodan. So this is where they dubbed Mothra as Queen of the Monsters. Yeah, that's not really Mothra. That's not always my idea of Mothra. My definition of Mothra. I mean, I do like the idea of how people like to ship Mothra with Godzilla, where Godzilla and Mothra are on and off lovers. But to me, that's always when Godzilla is. I always like that better when Godzilla and Mothra are always on and off lovers. Like whenever Godzilla is the villain, he and Mothra are enemies. But whenever Godzilla is the hero, he and Mothra are allies. So then Godzilla and King Ghidorah fight. And then also after Mothra. So then Rodan was defeated at one point. And then there was a scene when There's also a scene when Rodan, when King Ghidorah carries Godzilla up in the air, drops him on the ground, and boom, lands on the ground. Godzilla turns into Burning Godzilla. And my god, after Mothra saves him, it also causes Godzilla to get very OP as Burning Godzilla, and he annihilated King Ghidorah, like, into nothing. He even destroyed what's most of his body. And then Godzilla turns back to normal. Because normally, it's not like in Heisei series where Godzilla dies from when his power went out of control. He never went back to normal, but he just died from a nuclear meltdown. And after the defeat of King Ghidorah, all the monsters, including Rodan, the Behemoth, Scylla, and Queen Muto, all surround Godzilla, and they all bow down to him, and Godzilla makes his one final roar. And that's where they literally and explicitly made Godzilla king of the monsters. Yes, this movie is not to be confused with the U.S. title for 1954. Originally, it was just he was a well-known giant monster. It was just a nickname for being the well-known giant monster, kind of like Dracula, being like the ultimate vampire. But where kind of like King of the Monsters was a nickname for when Godzilla was being called the ultimate monster. But this time they literally made him king of the monsters, like where all the monsters bowed down to him and made him declare him as king. And that's pretty much the end of that. This one I truly recommend. This one's better than 2014. Has more action, more Godzilla, better human characters, and even has an awesome design of King Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan, and interesting new designs of monsters that appeared in this film. And it was an awesome battle, and the battles are really amazing. And I truly recommend giving this one a watch, especially if you're a casual moviegoer or a hardcore Godzilla fan. And as always, stay awesome, my Monster Masters, and I'll catch you later. Next, we'll be checking out Godzilla vs. Kong. And that's all I have to say, folks. And as always, stay awesome, my Monster Masters. Bye.